Please welcome the founder of Empowered, Antonia Okafor.
Well, welcome. Thank you guys so much, Denver. All right, before I start, I'm going to do a true or false poll. True or false? Raise your hand if you believe it's true. Denver has 300 days of sunshine. Raise your hand if you believe it's true. Okay, good. Raise your hand if you believe it's false. All right, good. We have a lot of liars in this building. That's really good to know. I'm a native Texan. I came here about 6 months ago, and I will tell you, I definitely have not seen the 300 days of sunshine. So, just a little joke. I love you, Denver. I love you. My name is Antonia Okafor, and I'm definitely not your average gun rights activist. My family, a little bit about me, my family are Nigerian immigrants. In elementary school, I remember very vividly my mom picking me up from middle school and telling me that we were going to vote for Bill Clinton. Well, not me, of course. That would have been voter fraud. But my mother was going to vote for Bill Clinton at the time. And essentially what we were going to do is vote for him because, well, we were black. That's what we did. She also told me that she was really fond of Bill Clinton, thought he was a sexy man, but I don't think that's something that I was really privy to really know about. I think the whole saxophone thing had just happened, and Bill Clinton was a popular item, apparently, for soccer moms. So she told me that, and I remembered that in a young age. Now, before I go on to the rest of my story, I want to warn you that my story is going to kind of take a weird turn. Or a tragic turn. See, in 1995, that was a pretty tragic year for me. Two things happened in 1995. When I was 5 years old, if you do the math, I'm 29 now. When I was 5 years old, I was raped by a family member. And not too long after that completely different incident, my father went to prison for 18 years. He served 18 years, went there for 20 years. For what is actually a mandatory minimum. Now, this is where the irony comes from in the whole thing. The Clintons were notorious in the 90s for being a tough on crime type of duo. So for those who always wonder, well, do elections and votings have consequences? Yeah, well, it definitely had a consequence in my life. So the reason why I tell you guys this is not just to tell you because I enjoy retelling my childhood trauma. Absolutely not. It's to help you guys realize where I really come from and why I am how I am today. For me, it was always about seeking empowerment because I want you guys to envision a disempowered child. A child who was desperate to find any means to get her power back. And unfortunately, that always took me to different ways of getting my empowerment back. Most of them false. Mainly modern feminism. You see, I was definitely not only just a teacher of feminism, I was a student of feminism. In my undergrad years, I would teach inner-city high school students about the glories of modern-day feminism and public policy. I would let them know that, feminism is not really the F word that we like to talk about. Not that other F word, I know, this is a Christian conference. But feminism wasn't bad, it was something to empower them. In my grad school years, I realized that I was sick of the limited options that I had in college campuses. So this was 2015 at the time, and Obama, which, by the way, remember I'm a student of modern feminism, I voted for in not only 2008, but also 2012. Cue the boos. I know, you guys are waiting to boo me on that one. But in grad school, I realized that if I truly wanted to empower myself and empower those around me, then I had to do two things. One, I had to quit seeing myself as a victim. Instead, I had to see myself as what I truly am and what survivors across this country, particularly sexual assault, truly are, survivors. 2, I had to advocate for my fellow peers and make sure that they could actually defend their own lives. And so I became an advocate of concealed carry on college campuses. Now, many people like to argue the whole statistics on sexual assault on college campuses, whether it's 1 in 4 or 1 in 5. But you know what, to be honest, for me, it's never been about those numbers. For me, it's always been about what can I do to save just one girl like me. We only have 10 minutes right now, so I'm gonna cut to the chase. I became a vocal advocate for concealed carry on campus, and after the bill passed, I became a successful advocate for the implementation of that bill in Texas. A couple years afterwards, I decided to form my own organization based on my own intention of why I became an advocate in the first place, to empower young women and empower them through the Second Amendment. And so I started Empowered. For those who are searching in empowered2a.org, you will find a very common theme, that we believe that gun rights are women's rights. In Empowered, we have a home of like-minded women who come together, who are sick and tired of the modern-day feminist movement. In fact, we've come to reclaim feminism for what it really was. Really, it was the starter for those like those in the West, the women of Wyoming, who was actually the first state to allow women universal suffrage and allow them to run in public office. Now, if you're gonna sit there and tell me that you don't see self-reliance in those principles and gun rights involved in the empowerment of women and equality between the sexes, then I have something that us native Texans like to say. Bless your heart. Here are the facts. The facts are that a high-capacity magazine is not an especially lethal edition of Vogue. The facts that are the AR of AR-15 does not mean assault rifle. It means, oh, come on, I know better than that, Colorado. It means Armalite. Does not mean assault rifle. The facts are that 22% of current gun owners are growing. They are women. And of those women, it is Black women, women that look like me, that are the fastest growing demographic group amongst gun owners in America. Since we're talking more about statistics, then of course in Colorado I have to bring this up. Red flag laws. Yes, now that's the reaction I was waiting for. Red flag laws. The fact of the matter is that red flag laws keep people who were once vulnerable and defenseless like me, who want to change the narrative from the hashtag #MeToo narrative to now hashtag not me, never again narrative. This red flag law is what keeps people from, like me, being able to defend ourselves. And it's wrong, it's unconstitutional, and if you are pro-limited government, you should be anti this bill. Naturally, with the trauma that I dealt with as a child, I dealt with a lot of depression and anxiety. And I've spoken to a lot of women across this great country, on college students and college campuses and high school students who come up to me and tell me as victims themselves, as survivors, themselves, that red flag laws actually keep them from having access to what is most important to them, to make sure that they're never a victim ever again. And I know a lot of the anti-gun left wants to parade people who are survivors like me and make it seem like that is the meta-narrative right there. That the narrative is that firearms hurt people. We know, I hope you guys know, I know, that really a firearm is there as a tool, and is that person, that man or woman, that good guy or good girl, who is able to use that tool to defend their lives and those that they care about. And that's what's important in America. So, Coloradans, I ask you guys to take back the second, because people are looking at us for many reasons. But for gun laws, they are especially looking at us to make sure that we are truly empowering the nation to know that our God-given right to the Second Amendment is, again, not government-given, not government-granted, but government-protected. I just got married a couple of weeks ago, and my lovely husband is here in the audience. And as being the good Christian man, leader of the home that he is, he took me one day and was like, we're going to start a Bible study. And so we started with Joshua 1. And Joshua 1, I'm not really sure if he was trying to tell me something or not, but I guess we'll find out. Joshua 1, 6 and 9 says, over and over again, be strong and courageous. My dear brothers and sisters in Christ, God says be strong and courageous multiple times, not because he believes that you should gather the strength that's within you as a human being, contrary to popular belief. No, he says in the Bible, be strong and courageous, for I am with you. Again, brothers and sisters in Christ, it is important to know that conservative values are important, that the Second Amendment and my God-given right to protect myself and those I care about is important as well. They are. But always know, please know and get this message, that at the end of the day, my true empowerment comes from one and one alone, Jesus Christ. Your true empowerment comes from Jesus Christ, and that is enough. Thank you.